brought in silica. He has low funds, so something like this, it's like $19 for this bottle, will last you a little while too. And increasing his vitamin C foods. Sometimes he'd be able to pick up my mega flavonoids, which I've had my teachers reverse people's aortic dilatation to the point where they were scheduled for surgery and didn't have to go through with surgery. If there was enough time there, of course, that can happen. So I really love this one product. It's a big horse pill though, and it was hard for him to swallow and such too. That's that type 2 collagen starting to be a problem. So we would just kind of go with other vitamin C's and vitamin C foods. He would come back in, I just in 1 month follow up and tell me, doc, when I take your stuff, I feel great. But I don't take stuff every day. But, so when I go back down, I'm forgetting and I go, oh yeah, I've got to start taking my connective tissue strengthening things. And he'd come right back. Worked on his lungs there, specifically some things to help him with that. And within 6 months, we were able to get him back on a boat without his oxygen tank. And I called him this morning to just do a check-in, say, hey, I'm going to be talking about you. How are you doing? Haven't seen you for a while. We get you. I love getting you guys so you kind of can roll and know what you need, and but love to check in with you as needed when things come up. He was dealing with osteoarthritis, rheumatic arthritis, and psoriatic arthritis, poor guy. And that was his main thing that was bothering him, because he was able to fly to Mexico for his niece's wedding. He just took the oxygen tank as needed. He uses it at night. He was able to bring back his quality of life. That is what I want to do for you guys. And we're not going to go cure and everything, this and that, and say no more Marfans, but we're going to help bring our lives back so we can do what we want, let our children have the lives that they deserve, and not let it take us down as victims as best as possible. All right. So that is really a lot to chew on, definitely, for today. I'm going to just leave everything at that, and let you guys have the floor if there's any questions. Come over here. Even I think I can unmute you and such, but I think everybody's fine in the chat thing. If you need, let me know if you have any questions more specifically. And Morgan, if that was a good help with your foot pain there, I hope that makes sense. Maybe you've tried some stuff, but well, the next talk will be on adrenals, hormones, and thyroid. You don't think that's you, I would say think again, because that runs everything. Although us naturopaths are big about our GI tracts being the source of everything, and that will be the third one. The adrenals aren't talked about much, but they're a stress gland, and they are essential for putting out our own hydrocortisone, which helps quell your pain and inflammation. So, and if we're running like the candle at both ends of the stick, we're not making any of that. We're making cortisol. So that's really important. It's intertwined with the thyroid and the hormones really intimately, and we want to help show how estrogen can help you strengthen back up again, and the important estrogen times of our cycle, and how to pay attention when are good times to be doing more exertion, and when the bad times are for us during our monthly cycles or post-menopause, when that estrogen, which is what keeps our elastin tight, it helps us with stomach acid and proper pH balance in the gut. So it's definitely a real popular one when I do my Facebook lives on hormones. Women just really need to know more a lot about that. There's a lot of misinformation out there on the web, as you all know, I'm sure. But you can find more on my Facebook group if you're into Facebook. I have a Marfans group. It's a closed group, so we can talk if anybody wants to talk more specifically about things going on privately. And so you just have to DM me and I will let you in the group. Or I think you can ask to join the group and then I just okay you. But I'm a lot on Instagram. If you guys are into Instagram, or just set it up so you can see me more on the daily there. And if you haven't yet, I have a nice little guide for connective tissue and how to use these, what foods, all these nutrients I talked today about, what foods they're all in, a little bit more about just bringing this to your kitchen on a guide I have at Calypso, CALYPSO, naturalclinic.com. And you'll see the guide to grab up for learning about more on what we talked about today. Otherwise, I will look forward to seeing, hey, we've got some cool questions. Yay! Okay, don't mind my Marfan eyes here. It didn't bring the readers. How does a child get diagnosed with Marfan's with signs and symptoms? Great question. The old diagnosis for Marfan's was the Ghent criteria, which I still use quite a bit because the latest is genetic testing, and it's getting a lot more affordable to have that done. I just had Charlie do it, my youngest, to find out that he is clear for both of the genes we have in my family. And he's knocking on the window now. So most MDs and NDs would at least have a little idea, but not all the time for sure. So I have the lab that OHSU uses if you don't want to use it. And it really was like $300 or something. It wasn't too much. So that could be very useful. And when there's so many different ones that we're finding, it's great to get tested so we can tell if it's in the umbrella and it's something new that we need to continue. So that's the best way. They say that, and aortic dilation is required to actually get that diagnosis. Me, as a preventative naturopath, I'm going to start looking and start giving you support right if I see these Ghent criteria, the GHENT criteria, looking at things like high arch. High arches everywhere in our mouth there, in the palate, and in our feet, really high arches. My son's fallen. He's got a little bit more like my brothers do. Poor boys, they have it worse. You can see, like with me, I've got this now. It's really long features, right? Arachnodactyl fingers, these spider-like fingers. Arm span that's longer than your height. Nearsighted, we're all nearsighted. Easy to have sprains and ankles. We are slower to heal. Any little cut. Ehlers-Danlos people are cousins, which we're seeing this type 4 everywhere. Aortic, not so much, but a lot of just the loose connective tissue. I think that is what's happening with this food system that we have, lacking so many of the minerals that we need. And we're using up our antioxidants just to deal with the smog when we're driving our cars and such, and the environmental toxins it's needed for detoxifying. So that the Ehlers-Danlos people all do the, they can pull their skin out, super soft, having the little bumps on the side of their heels, and just the ankle and feet problems are definitely, like Morgan's experiencing some of the areas. And I did this week. I couldn't even take a regular walk. I had to come back, and my varicose veins were bothering me so much. Compression stockings are huge, and very important to help our long legs, our long, beautiful legs we have. So hopefully that helped you there, Doc. Thanks for asking. I get more doctors on board with diagnosing us properly. All right, Morgan, is collagen more for preventative support, or it can rebuild connective tissue that's already stretched too far? That's exactly it, Morgan. It can help that connective tissue that's already stretched too far. Yes, yes, yes. And then we're always making new. So if we have all the building blocks that the body needs right there, when we go in and our MMPS's enzymes break down our collagen, eat up that elastin, then the body's looking around to rebuild that. And if it doesn't have everything it needs, it's going to go back to just scar tissue. So if we can try and give it something new to build new connective tissue, it's going to give us a stronger tensile strength. That vitamin C can go in and start going, oh, this is a little weak over here. Let me strengthen up that wall. We've done this for years in cardiology to help reduce cholesterol. Cholesterol goes in to help cool down this hot, inflamed, mushy wall because it needs reinforced. And is our body's adapting to reinforce that wall. So cardiology, and then chiropractors have known with just kind of their patients that go out a lot, they increase some of these things. Boom, from then on forward, we will be stronger. So yes, this is important. Like my case study, he was 70 years old. He'd already destroyed himself to the max. And it was as simple as 6 weeks. And he started really feeling his strength coming back, and less pain then equates to that, right? So that was a great question, Morgan. Thank you. Good to help clarify. Excellent. You got, and elastin's definitely one of those things I've had an extra microscope for out there in the studies, and it's getting exciting to see more and more discoveries there. So I'll always be talking about how we can pull that back. Excellent. Well, you guys, thank you so much for joining today. My kids are sneaking in here. And I will look forward to seeing you all next Wednesday at noon again, unless this time doesn't work for you guys, but and I can get more people on in the evening. But feel free to give me any feedback on times and topics that you're looking for. Definitely here for you guys, help give you a service, and share this information that's really important for us to everybody you know. Thank you so much for joining me, you guys. Take care. Dr. Amanda Lynn,